That is wild. That is wild. Jonathan, Jonathan can't get a break. You fighting your mom. Mm-hmm. You fighting her goons. Mm-hmm. You're fighting your pastor. Mm-hmm. You're fighting your father. Mm-hmm. And now you're fighting your sister? Your sister? You would think, like, especially coming, like, if you're in a crazy family, usually the brother and the sister, they try to team up, like, have each other's side because they know how crazy their family is. But no. The sister said, hey, if I take Jonathan out, maybe I'll get the spot.
Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we'll delve into Denise Boggs' responses to some serious claims made in Rachel Lamb's recent podcast. Rachel defended Pete and accused Denise of dishonesty. Denise has now come forward to share her perspective, providing key insights that challenge Rachel's narrative. Let's break this down, starting with one of the central disputes, the alleged exoneration by Debbie Linhart. In her podcast, Rachel claimed that Pete and his wife were exonerated during a session with Debbie Linhart, a forensic child psychologist. Denise strongly disputes this. She clarifies that while a session did occur, Debbie explicitly stated that she could not conduct a thorough assessment because Pete himself was largely uncooperative, answering a few questions directly. Debbie allegedly told Denise during a private conversation that further sessions were necessary to reach any conclusions. Denise said, "I even told Pete and his wife directly that nothing was settled in that session. Any claims of exoneration are completely unfounded. My question would be, which professional would exonerate a person suspected of SAing a child in one sitting of questioning?" Here is what Rachel Lamb shared in her podcast, and then we will hear Denise Boggs' response.
Professional validation. Pete is exonerated. On August 20th, 2021, Pete and his wife met with Debbie Linhart, LLC, a forensic child psychologist, to continue their thorough and professional response to the allegations. Seeking clarification to ensure the process adhered to professional guidelines, Pete's wife asked Denise Boggs if she could be present during the interview or if Debbie wanted to interview Pete alone. Denise consulted with Debbie, who confirmed she wanted to interview both Pete and his wife together. With this decision made, Denise, Debbie, Pete, and his wife all met, where Debbie conducted a comprehensive and in-depth interview. During the session, Debbie asked a series of detailed questions, which both Pete and his wife answered thoroughly and candidly, demonstrating their full cooperation and commitment to addressing this matter professionally. In the meeting, Debbie said none of this would hold up in a court of law, and it was her conclusion that this was nothing more than a big family mess, fueled by years of jealousy, competition, and lack of relationship. After hours of meeting, Denise walked Debbie to her car where they had a conversation. When Denise walked in, she let Pete and his wife know she had exonerated Pete.
Did you say those words?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
Keep it going. Absolutely not.
Well, let's jump in later. That's too long of an intro.
Well, absolutely not, bro. Wait. Why is the wife there again?
Which wife?
Pete's wife. Why? Why would you want to be there? And the word is that she answered most of the questions, and when she wanted just Pete to come back, they declined. But we'll see that later on. But bro, come on. Welcome to Level Up.
Welcome, everybody, to Level Up with Larry and Leo, where we turn trials into opportunities and dreams into reality. My name is Mr. Larry, and this is the brother man, Brother Leo. Leo, how you doing today?
Oh, tis the season
to be messy.
Man. You're gonna follow that up, bro. Again, disclaimer, man. This is just two friends just chopping it up. If you're looking for somebody to give you deep spiritual insight and condemn folk, you're in the wrong channel. But before you go, like and subscribe. If you're in here just to have a lighthearted conversation and maybe get some profound points that you're not hearing from some of the other channels, you're in the right place.
If you're here to be a vibe, just
Subscribe.
all right. So listen, we are covering later more insane news from this crazy story where Rachel Lamb, the daughter of Marcus and Joni, basically saying that Pete's been exonerated. Pete is innocent. It's fine. The investigator just said that he's good, so he's good. Let's move on.
Nothing to see here.
We don't want to deal with any of that. Come on, it's family. Let's keep the family together.
Mm-hmm.
That is wild. That is wild. That Jonathan can't get a break. You fighting your mom. Mm-hmm. You fighting her goons. Mm-hmm. You're fighting your pastor. Mm-hmm. You're fighting your father. Mm-hmm. And now you're fighting your sister? Your sister? You would think, like, especially coming, like, if you're in a crazy family, usually the brother and the sister, they try to team up, like, have each other's side because they know how crazy their family is. But no. The sister said, hey, if I take Jonathan out, maybe I'll get the spot. Allegedly.
Bro, here's the thing. One interview that's not even one-on-one doesn't make sense because to make that decision. Because as I understand it, you have to have multiple interviews to compare the answers to see the level of accuracy and consistency in what's being said.
Mm-hmm.
So the first interview is basically this, set the baseline, record what was said, and then come back and say, okay, let's talk about X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. And see the level of consistency before I could make a decision. I'm not going to sit down for 4 hours and then say, oh, okay, yeah, I believe you. Everything you said. Yeah, okay, it's just a family drama. You're completely exonerated. That to me is less believable than the fact that, hey, I tried to call you back for a second interview. You declined. So what's your take on this?
A lot of this, if you notice that a ministry has a habit of cover up, this is a great example of, okay, this works in the church world, but when you bring somebody, and it's not to say that the investigator wasn't a church woman or a part of a church, or maybe she had a relationship with the family, but when you operate in that silo where you basically just try to manage the narrative, that works as long as you're dealing with a lot of people who have already been conditioned to believe everything that you say. But when you bring in somebody from the outside who has to do a job and who can go to jail if they don't do their job right, or they have their serious consequences, because that type of work, there's serious consequences for you not to do that type of thing properly. So to try to say, oh yeah, so-and-so said this and that, and it's all good, and we're just going to go on, and because God is good, and the devil is a liar, and anyways, she came back, she was like, I didn't say that. That's not what happened.
Can we hit play? Can we hit play from here? Because
yeah.
Please, let's go back in.
I mean,
No, it was
how would one exonerate something so serious in one session?
Yes. No, and see, the problem was that it was a long session because Debbie would ask questions and then Rachel would answer them. And so Debbie kept trying to have questions that Pete would engage in, but that didn't happen. And so that was the conversation when we went to the car. She said, she said, I wasn't even able to do a thorough investigation, assessment. She said, because he didn't really answer one question himself. She answered them all. So she said, I can't do anything.
Okay.
So now when I went back in to the house, of course, they were very stressed because, oh, what's this going to mean? What's this going to mean? And so I was just trying to really, I was concerned for them, and because there's no closure here at all, and I was in a sense trying to just say to them, I know this is hard, but you've got to realize that there's going to have to be another or maybe two more of these in order to get this settled. And I was just trying to kind of bring a awareness to them that this wasn't all there was. I mean, they're all upset over, of course it's stressful over what they had just gone through, but it wasn't the end by no means.
My mouth.
Bruh. Okay, I'm on 10 right now. I gotta get this out. Number one, Pete's wife sounds a lot like Joni. That's what I was thinking the whole time. Like, that reminded me a lot that it seems like, and it's so crazy too. And this is a side note. The way that Joni went at Jonathan, like saying, man, you need to grow a pair. You letting your wife control everything while actually doing the very thing that you're accusing her of.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. But it seems like there's a lot of that going on with Pete and his wife. And man, once Pete gets uncovered, once Pete comes out, once we find out who Pete is.
I mean, I think we already know if you really do the research. Okay, we already know.
Who you think?
I'm not going. No,
okay.
Man. No.
Okay. We might need to do a video on who we think Pete is. Okay, but
the internet streets have been talking, bro.
I've seen a few videos on that as well. But like this whole scenario just adds another level of ick and just level of what the heck is this? So if you go back to the scene where Jonathan catches Pete with his daughter, all Pete is doing, I'm so sorry. 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 That's the one part about on Jonathan that I'm not rocking with. Because bro would have been buried. You feel me? Like, buried. Like, so, anyways. Now to go see when the investigator shows up. Because Susie was just like, listen, we are not, no, like this, we're going to deal with this. Like, there ain't no covering up going on here. But for this investigator to go over there, Pete's wife to be controlling, and again, they're just super, you can already imagine the scene. They're very uptight, they're very worried, and they're very stressed out because freaking poor Pete is so worried about what's going to happen as a result. And y'all are acting like you're freaking victims when you're the freaking pedophile. Like, how in the world can you, the way that you can turn a predator into a victim in this situation is mind-blowing to a level I can't even imagine. And going back to Marcus, declaring him innocent without any investigation just tells you all that you need to know about Marcus.
Bro, we already talked about that. Your boy Ben covering it up. That's the culture, bro. That's the culture. That's part of the culture. Like, that's part of the culture. Is
This is
I cover
straight
you, you
mafia.
cover me. You know what I mean? Cover me, I'm gonna sin.
But here's the thing, though. In the mafia, Pete would have died.
Oh yeah, they ain't got no room for that. Not for the
So
kids, the innocent
the,
kids.
this how crazy this is, bro. The mafia has more integrity than this ministry.
Definitely more principled.
Because Pete would have died in the
Oh
mafia.
yeah. In the
Under
room.
I don't care if he was a made man. They would have he would have been done. He would have been in the river. Where's Pete?
Cement shoes. But bro, there's a lack of awareness amongst them to see, like, we've got a history of covering stuff up. So even, which I think is not true, even if they were being honest in this situation, because you have a history of covering stuff up, you have to go above, way above and beyond in terms of proving your innocence, proving the thoroughness of the investigation, proving the independence of those investigators. Like, you would have to go above and beyond to show what needs to be shown. And that hasn't happened.
Here's the fatal flaw with these type of organizations. They develop a lot of yes men around them because that's the soil that allows for this to happen.
Yeah.
But the problem with that, though, is you actually, when you have a lot of yes men around, it kind of allows you to lack preparation and due diligence when you do your mess.
You're not sharp.
Because you're not able to, and you're so used to dealing with yes men that when somebody who is not a part of your circle steps in, they can see every single flaw because you have not trained yourself
You've been sloppy
to be able to. So you're not as good at covering your tracks. Yeah. So that's what we're seeing here. That's how this empire is crumbling because you got so used to just doing your mess and not really crossing every T and dotting every I that now people can see. Everybody sees. Yeah, y'all are some dirty dogs. Some
like
dirty
here's
dogs.
The thing: you have independent accountant firms come and audit your books every year. It wouldn't be anything to bring in,
which means nothing.
An independent firm. I'm saying to at least show that you're striving after transparency. But instead, you bring in a friend of a friend. You bring in somebody that's, one step away from the circle or in the outer circle to do this and do that, which does not bring forth legitimacy, even if that was the result, which it was not. It's not done by a completely independent third party that could come in and say, okay, these are our findings. These are the list of questions. These are his answers. These are our documentation. This is what we did. You don't have that.
There's only one financial audit that I would trust, and that's the IRS.
Don't mention that name on this pod, bro.
Because they're the only people you can't pay off. You owe them money.
But in terms of finding out, if somebody's embezzling, misappropriating funds, that type of stuff, that isn't the head of the corporation, then yeah. But I 100% believe that was not said. So, Rachel, I'm sorry. You're wrong. Is there anything else in this video we want to cover?
Nah, man, it's just these some scumbags, bro. Some serious scumbags. Some serious scumbags. It's sad, man. I hate, bro. I get so mad when I hear when predators try to act like victims. Like Pete needs his behind whooped. Like a serious, like the level of damage that needs to be done to that man's face.
It's not of God.
That you got your wife in here trying to distract the investigator from you. Like, dude, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Throw the whole thing away.
May I ask a question?
Throw it all away.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Could it be? This is just a question. I don't know the answer to it. Could it be that Pete's wife is well acquainted with his demons, so to speak? And she was afraid of that being exposed, which is the reason why she wanted to be in the room. Cover him.
I think that Pete's wife realizes a few things. Number one, she realizes that if he goes to jail, there is a strong likelihood that Daystar is not going to take care of her while he's gone. So she realizes that she's probably a stay-at-home mom. She probably has no income outside because Pete was being taken care of at the ministry. So if he goes to jail, because these people, bro, they're with you 1 minute and the next minute you can become an enemy so fast. Like, you could have been the best thing to ever happen to that organization. Like, you could have been doing X, Y, and Z. And the minute anything that happens with you that can destroy what's going on there, you're an enemy.
Excommunicated. Yep.
You are done. So she realizes that she knows she knows the waters that she's swimming in, and she does not want to lose. God only knows the type of properties that they live in, if they're paid off or not. Just all these various things that she's probably thinking about. Like, man, even though I despise him, I hate him, or whatever, he is the one that is keeping my lifestyle, and I don't know how I'm going to survive without him. That's one theory. That's just that's just a thought that comes to me that would drive a woman to do this. It's self-preservation. Yeah, I believe that she knows his secrets to an extent. I don't, and to an extent, who knows what her involvement is in this?
This
because here is here is what everyone needs to understand about this. And I have a really strong take on this. If you come across an individual who will essay his own flesh and blood, probably wouldn't that be his niece? Or God, we don't know. They're related. For him to do that,
in one way or another,
I guarantee he's done it before. Guarantee. Predators love those types of organizations. They flourish in them. He's done it before, probably multiple times. That's one thing with me, bro. Like, I don't think there's a cure to that. I don't feel like there's a cure. There's only one cure. That is the grave. Like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's just, bro, it is just that bad. That's I don't know. I'm gonna, if I keep talking, I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I really feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, predators are rarely caught their first time.
Very, very rare.
So,
and again, for them to cover that up means that there's so much more that they're covering up. And for them to be willing to put their granddaughter under the bus that way and not get her justice just shows you how bad and how terrible this whole scenario is.
And then become, what's the word, estranged from your son and your sister-in-law, all to protect the mothership.
It to me, I have a hunch there is a lot more that has been covered up here.
Here's my other take. You ready for this? What does Pete have on them that has caused them to give so much loyalty and deference to him?
Bingo. Again, we talked about this in the last video. The way the Christian Illuminati works, we all have to have dirt on each other. We all do.
So that's my other question. What kind of leverage, what kind of cards is this brother holding that would allow him to hold serve in that way? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but it begs the question, like, okay, what do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What does he have on you that you're willing to lose your relationship with your son to protect someone who, at the very least, has the appearance of evil? The Bible says to abstain from the appearance. And it wasn't one time, it's multiple times. Let's continue the conversation in the comments, man. Let me know, what do you think about the points that we made? What do you think they have, like Pete and his wife has on Joni and that part of the family or the organization that they would put aside their own flesh and blood and not give them due process or go to the police in order to protect this man? Subscribe. Until next time, peace.